there's been a controversy between some Call of Duty streamers and Blizzard, and it is not good.
What do you mean? I haven't been keeping up with Overwatch too much.
Well, this actually, oddly enough, has nothing to do with Overwatch, but it's within the ActiBliz community. Um, well, ActiBliz realm. Anyway, so there's this prominent Call of Duty streamer named, I think it's Nickmercs or something,
Oh my god.
and
What's he do this time?
he had streamed. There was a proposal within one of the I think it was Los Angeles school district or some school district in California that was proposing that they acknowledge Pride Month, which I say good move. But because of the idea of that being voted on the inside, there was protests on the outside fighting for and against the idea of recognizing Pride Month within the school district, which turned ugly, which turned into a fight on the outside. And so Nick Mertz, he was watching the whole thing and had streamed the coverage. And let me pull up the actual tweet.
We gotta unpack this massive mess with Nickmercs, Call of Duty, TimTheTatMan, and at this point, there's really no shortage of names that have gotten involved. Right, so for those of you who don't know, Nickmercs is a massively popular streamer, with Nick being by far the most watched Call of Duty Warzone streamer in the world. I mean, so big, in fact, he's got his own skin. TimTheTatMan, also very big in the space, also has his own skin. And this whole controversy started last week with a situation we actually covered, which also got one of our shows last week suppressed. Because with that, you had an esports commentator, Chris Puckett, sharing footage of a fight that broke out at a school board meeting in Glendale, California. Or with that, reportedly all happening just because the schools wanted to honor Pride Month. With Chris writing, Americans are in a sad place right now. Let people love who they love and live your own life. With Nick then responding by saying they should leave little children alone. That's the real issue. While he saw a fair share of people supporting Nick there, he also faced tons of backlash for that comment. With people saying that tweet, that was homophobic, it was bigoted, it plays right into the dangerous narrative that gay people are somehow preying on or pose a threat to children. You then had Nick responding to the controversy on stream, they're standing by his tweet.
I didn't mean to upset anybody. I know that I did. I'm not apologizing about the tweet because I don't feel like it's wrong. It wasn't an anti, I guess, gay tweet. But if you think that I hate you because you're a certain way, you just couldn't be any more wrong.
With him adding there that he thinks this is a discussion that parents should have with children, that it should not happen in a classroom setting. With that, I mean, we're talking about this still on Monday, not smoothing the situation over, because again, you had people having drastically different reactions. Some supporting Nick saying, yes, schools are trying to push the gay agenda, whereas others went, no, this is just a way to support a minority group, a group that's been historically villainized oftentimes because of ignorance and a lack of conversation, and it's meant to make kids who may be LGBTQ+ not feel othered. But key thing with the story, by Thursday evening, you had people noticing that Activision had seemingly removed Nick's bundle from a couple of Call of Duty games. And their official Twitter account later confirming, due to recent events, we have removed the Nickmercs Operator bundle from the Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone store. We are focused on celebrating Pride with our employees and our community. With that then prompting its own massive wave of backlash against Call of Duty from people who think that Nick said nothing wrong and didn't deserve this. And while the story involved a lot of people in the gaming space, it also broke out past it, including the likes of right-wing figureheads getting involved, like former NRA spokesperson Dana Lash slamming Call of Duty for the decision. Regarding Nick himself, on Friday, he issued a statement thanking people for backing him, writing, friends are created in good times, but families are built through adversity. Appreciate all of you that have my back, understand my position as a new father, and recognize the love I have for all. Ain't no hate in my heart, peace and love. But with that, the story kept growing and growing. Other popular streamers like Dr. Disrespect uninstalling Call of Duty over this.
You either need to apologize publicly to him or reinstate his bundle in order for me to consider playing Call of Duty again.
Though Dr. Disrespect's comments caused their own conversation because some thought that he stands to benefit from making this controversy even bigger. And that's because he's developing his own game that'll likely be competition with Call of Duty, which I can't deny that there is an incentive for him, though I do say this is once again just my personal opinion. He probably would have had this stance anyway. Or because there were a number of people in the space that kind of had this mindset. Like on Saturday, we talked about TimTheTatMan. He put out a statement saying, Nick has been my friend for years. We went in getting our CoD operators together. It feels wrong for me to have mine and him no longer have his. In support of my friend, please remove the TimTheTatMan bundle Call of Duty. Duty, with Activision later giving a statement and saying they honored his request and took the skin down. And so this whole situation has caused a massive divide online. You have people like streamer Trainwreck siding with Nick, accusing Call of Duty of virtue signaling for clout and claiming what they are doing here with this situation only sends people further down the rabbit hole and divides by putting people into an angry state void of logic and understanding. But then on the other side of this, you have people, it's less about supporting Call of Duty, but more talking about the public reaction, especially considering the original context of the tweet and the comment. Because again, and it feels like a lot of this has been lost in the online discourse, this whole situation stems from, and the thing that was being commented on was a fight actually breaking out because Glendale schools were voting to go, hey, should we recognize June as Pride Month? A measure that affirmed, quote, a commitment to creating a safe, welcoming, and inclusive learning environment for all LGBTQ+ students, families, and staff members. Also encouraging schools to incorporate lessons on the LGBTQ+ community, but also the district saying leading up to this that intentional and harmful disinformation has been circulating about what is being taught. And with that, saying they follow state law and education policies. You also had people taking issue with how the protest itself was being presented, with, for example, the likes of Hassan Piker speaking on that today.
These guys who were duking it out with the parents there, most of them do not have children there. They don't even have children. Some of them are not even allowed near a school. Let's be real. These are like Proud Boys, January 6 rioters, people that basically protest almost professionally at this point, all around the Southern California area. Now, I'm sure Nick didn't know that. Many people don't know that. You have to be someone as brain broken as myself to know the details of this sort of thing.
And so that's why, among other things, you had people saying, dude literally cheered on violence against an LGBT+ rally by insinuating heinous shit about us. And now tens of thousands of people are all backing his fucked up rhetoric and promoting more violence. And people only uninstalling CoD after Nickmercs gets taken out of the store, not after Activision was found to discriminate against their female workers is so telling. But hey, that's a story as it stands now. We're probably going to see further developments. But yeah, I'll leave it on two notes. One, what are your thoughts on this story? But also two, I want to wish all you LGBTQ+ beautiful bastards a happy Pride. I know this year has got to be hard. I mean, I say I know. I don't know what that's like in here. But know while there is hate out there and plenty of ignorance, a lot of people love your faces.
So from Polygon, Call of Duty removes Nickmercs skin following streamer's anti-LGBTQIA+ tweet. So Call of Duty publisher Activision has removed Nickmercs operator bundle from its Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone stores after the streamer and former MLG champion it was named for made an anti-LGBTQ tweet. Today, esports broadcaster Chris Puckett responded to the footage shared on Twitter of anti-LGBTQ protesters attacking pro-LGBTQ demonstrators in Glendale, California. Oh, so it's Glendale. Outside a school board meeting. In his quote, he said, in his quote tweet, he said, quote, Americans are in a sad place right now. Let people love who they love and live your own life. The full tweet that I have, Puckett, he actually is an announcer for the Overwatch League. He said, quote, this happened 4 blocks away from my Overwatch League apartment. Americans are in a sad place right now. Let people love who they love and live your own life. He quote tweeted Brennan Murphy. So, Nick Kolcheff, who streams under the name Nickmercs, tweeted in response with a common LGBTQ talking point
Damn it.
that far-right conservatives use to disparage trans people. Quote, they should leave little children alone, end quote, Nickmercs tweeted. Quote, that's the real issue, end quote. Numerous Twitter users tweeted their disappointment in response to the statement. The following day, Nickmercs live streamed and said he wouldn't apologize or remove the statement from Twitter. Quote, I'm not apologizing for the tweet because I don't feel like it's wrong, he said, saying that he and his wife, quote, want to be the ones to speak with our child about stuff like that, end quote. Nickmercs is a popular Twitch streamer with 7.9 million Twitch subscribers and 2.6 million followers on Instagram. He's a member and co-owner of FaZe Clan, an esports and lifestyle organization. The Nickmercs bundle launched in Call of Duty on May 31st, alongside a similar bundle for streamer TimTheTatMan. Activision has since pulled a blog post promoting the two bundles. Charlie Intel, a site that shares Call of Duty news, initially noticed that Nickmercs skins disappearing from the Call of Duty stores last Thursday, saying, quote, "It appears Activision has removed Nickmercs from the bundle, the Nickmercs bundle from the Warzone and MW2 store this evening," and noting, quote, "The removal of this bundle comes a day after Nickmercs' recent comments about the LGBT plus community." There are a couple updates, but before I get to that, finish this article here. The official Call of Duty Twitter account responded on the same day confirming the removal of the Nickmercs operator bundle from the two stores. "We are focused on celebrating Pride and our employees and our community," in quote, Call of Duty's tweet read. An Activision representative emailed Polygon with the same statement. Nickmercs has not made an official statement in light of the skin being pulled from Call of Duty stores. However, he tweeted, quote, "Families are built through adversity," end quote, noting his appreciation of those who, quote, "have my back," end quote. Polygon has reached out to Nickmercs for comment and will update the story when he responds. Now, there are two updates. First update, an Activision representative emailed Polygon with the following statement, quote, "Due to recent events, we have removed the Nickmercs operator bundle from the Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone store. We are focused on celebrating Pride with our employees and our community," end quote. In a second update that came earlier today, Activision has also removed the popular streamer TimTheTatMan's operator bundle from Call of Duty stores after he asked to have the bundle themed after him removed in an act of solidarity with Nickmercs. Quote, "At Tim's request, we have removed the TimTheTatMan operator bundle from the Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone store," end quote, an Activision spokesperson told Polygon in an email. Timothy John Bader, who goes by TimTheTatMan online, and who has more than 7 million Twitch followers, tweeted his support of Nickmercs on June 10th. In the tweet, he called for Activision to remove its bundle from the Call of Duty stores. Quote, "Nickmercs has been my friend for years. We went into getting our Call of Duty operators together. It feels wrong for me to leave mine and him no longer have his. In support of my friend, please remove the TimTheTatMan bundle," end quote, he wrote on Twitter, tagging Call of Duty official Twitter account. So that's the story.
What the fuck did I miss while I was gone?
Jay was filling us in on Call of Duty and Overwatch stuff.
Cool, got it, thank you.
Series, drama, what have you.
I like it.
Bye.
To sum it up, TimTheTatMan and Nickmercs had their Call of Duty bundles removed from the Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone stores because of Nickmercs' comments about the Glendale, California protests for the school board meeting that wanted to recognize Pride Month, and TimTheTatMan was like, "Hey, fuck that, get rid of my bundle too because I support Nickmercs," which has conjured up quite a bit of backlash.
Against the makers of COD or the two who said fuck this?
It was a lot towards both, honestly. So like everyone was not happy with Tim following Nickmercs and Nickmercs actually saying the thing. He basically said, let me go back to what he exactly said. He said they should leave little children alone. That's the real issue. After Puckett, an Overwatch League commentator, said about the protests And the fight that ensued said, "This happened 4 blocks from my Overwatch League apartment. Americans are in a sad place right now. Leave people, let people love who they love, and live your own life."
Well,
Uh,
you know, part of the reason why that's going right, why um, California is going through what it's going through, and it's because people are wanting to bring the pride stuff, and I'm not saying this to go against everything. They're wanting to bring it into the elementary schools and go as far as kindergarten to start teaching that. When in reality, when you look at it, kindergartners and such are not at the mental stage to understand that thing. And I'm not saying it as a disrespectful way or anything of the sort. It's their mind has not aged enough to understand same-sex parents or what have you.
Thank you for articulating that, Lucy. That was fucking awesome.
Now, if they were to do that with my kids, there'd be a problem. I don't want my 9-year-old knowing what that is. They're not at the mental capacity or anything to understand what it is. I mean, come on, think about it. Do you really want the statistic of predatory behavior to really kick in that much? Because that's exactly what's going to happen. And they're going to have the mindset of, well, so-and-so's parents are like that. And that's exactly what's going to happen.
Yo, she's got my vote, Jay. I'm telling you, she's not wrong. It's a genuine concern. With Mary, dude, she's a pre-K teacher, bro. Like this, she literally, like, before kindergarten is what she teaches. And she's having to deal with the exact same conversations with kids who are not even fucking 6 years old yet. It is a real concern, especially when you slow down enough to think that me, you, Lucy, Clue, Rune, all of us, we may have grown up in a different time, but we also had different decisions, and those decisions, whether or not it seems like it, we've always been able to make, man. Think about it, in high school, even in, and I won't go as far as back as high school, think about how many times the relationship you and I have had could have changed based off one decision, right? And I don't mean like I'm attracted to you, you're attracted to me thing, but that was a point in time where you didn't even know if you could fucking trust me half the time because of how I treated you when we were younger, right?
yeah.
Now, when I say I don't mean to disrespect anybody, I mean the parents that are same sex and have their kids understand that, cool, more power to you. But the parents that have the same sex relationships and have kids, they have to explain things differently to their kids, but they also have to do twice as more work to keep an eye out on the predatory behavior. Especially if their parents have gone through it before. Does that make sense?
I hear you.
Clue could actually probably explain it better than I could. He understands the whole political thing more than I do.
Oh, you're doing a really good job. No, really, you're doing a really good job at explaining it, because if I were to tell that to Jay, from my perception, it would be like, dude, I don't want my kids learning about that shit until they're old enough to learn about that shit. That's basically how the conversation would go, and then he would give me 1,000 questions and somewhat get frustrated with me.
Well, I mean, like, too, you gotta look at it. The normal education system, as fucked as it is when they start doing the sex ed is 5th grade, right? And that's because the kids are starting to go through, like, puberty's about to start kicking in. It's preparing you for what's to come and what to expect with puberty, right? Well, then when you get into junior high, then they go into what can happen, such as pregnancy, STDs, everything else. And then when you go into high school, they really hone in on that. And when they're in high school, that's pretty much all what their mind is thinking of. So when they're in high school, that's the point when you can start introducing, okay, the same-sex stuff, the pride, you know, everything else. But don't do it when they're little kids, when they're learning how to count, they're learning their colors, they're learning their shapes, they're learning their alphabet. Don't push it on little kids. And more often than not, and what I've seen lately on like Instagram with one of the family bloggers that I used to follow on YouTube, and I've said it before in VCs, not on streams, not on social media or anything. One, you know, it's not my place, not my business. But, and also not my kid. This particular family blog channel follows trends very easily, and they will ride that trend until it's like a deadbeat. Not to disrespect animals or anything, but that's literally what those people do. They, from what it looks like on the outside, and I could be wrong, they push their son into being trans from a male to a female. And that's what it looks like on the outside. And they push the fact that they love their son, or who's going through the change, age 7 or 8, started going by a female, what have you. What if the kid, whenever that kid grows up, doesn't want to be a trans anymore? What if they look back and be like, I never got to experience X, Y, and Z going through as a male, I was pushed into it going as a female.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got a lot of shit for that because of how sudden it was.
Mm-hmm. They even made a video on Instagram about the timeline. What? You had a foxtail in your tail.
I prepped all night for this mission. Well, maybe I gained a little too.
Does that make sense though?
You haven't lost me, I'm still here.
Did I overstep a little, Jay?
There's gonna be a lot. Like, I hear what you're saying, but I don't want to make it feel like I'm just like. I'm trying to frame the right thing that I want to say.
Adam!
Because I've learned in the past, when I say something, I'm ultra passionate about it. And I need to form it with a bit more. I need to form the opinion with a bit more. What is the word I'm looking for?
Thought, compassion, empathy, understanding. Calm. Articulate. Trying to figure out how you feel before you say it.
I want to think about what I feel before I say it, because there's a. First off, I'm not a parent. I'll never understand what it's like to be a parent, at least for a while. You know, I also am not a teacher. For just the legalities of what I'm dealing with, yes, I have relatives in education, but their opinions are not mine. But the one thing I will address for anyone who is getting mad at anything that Blizzard has said about celebrating Pride, things like that. I mean, hell, look at Overwatch. Where was all of this vitriol when ActiBliz was being investigated by the California DA? Because I covered that. And I made it clear that I will continue to air WoW and Overwatch content, but I will also actively donate to places that help others. To that point, I think that this is... I think once again this is jiggling the keys. Oh look, there's a distraction. Meanwhile, laws are being passed. I think that parents are in an unenviable position where they have to I think parents should know what their kids are being taught. Yes. However, I want to say this without coming across rude. I guess my main question is not where, but when should a kid know about all of the I guess not complications, but at least the basic knowledge that being straight is not the only thing out there.
I would almost say organically the same way we did, without all the hate and vigor that we had to deal with. Like,
well, see, go ahead, Cody. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, in a way, Jay, this is my opinion, and I might not be saying the words exactly right, so just bear with me. But you and I and Lucy and Clue and all of us, or like, I get it, we're all, they might be a little younger, but not by much. I mean, we all basically grew up learning it in a very organic manner. We also grew up learning it in a very news-heavy, social era, and I don't just mean social media either. I'm talking like early, like late '90s, early 2000s, when MTV was still covering what happened in Trevor and that whole massacre, right? Like,
and music and
exactly. exactly what I'm saying. Exactly. It's like we organically learned it. We knew that they were out there. We knew about all this other stuff. Like we knew there was an alternative lifestyle. I mean, just like what was the what was it? The true life documentaries that MTV used to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
all
remember
kinds
those.
of shit. They did all kinds of shit.
Exactly. So like we learned it organically. We also got a chance to learn both sides of that argument. Okay? That was us and that was how we grew up. I think the best way that you can learn it is as organic as possible while letting them and like Jay, I'm not a parent, but like I don't have a but. I'm just not a parent. I just know what happened to me. There for a long time, people questioned whether or not I was gay because I just didn't date anybody that much in high school. But they didn't know I was in a relationship for like by the time I got into my freshman year of high school, I was already in a relationship with somebody who had graduated high school. So nobody knew my relationship. Nobody knew that, but I barely even knew that. And I'll be really honest and I'll tell you, there were times where I was like, damn, like, what am I? Am I, not in like I didn't know, like I always knew that I was really attracted to women, but I did ask myself once or twice, hey, am I also attracted to dudes, or am I attracted to whatever? And I'll be the first to tell you, with that being said, without giving out too much information, like, I still find some dudes attractive. I'm like, well, fucking A, man. It's just an organic thing, just let them form the opinion on their own. Yeah, they're gonna get introduced to it regardless, but just let them learn it on their own with their own journey without imposing it on them before it's time. You know? And most of us, I didn't have sex until I was a teenager, until I was already in high school. That was my own personal journey. It was organic. As organic as possible. It's the only thing I can think of. I'm done now, I'm sorry.
I don't know. I think here's the big problem.
Well, hang on, because you also had asked like when they should learn that stuff, right? And coming from the viewpoint as a mom, if it were up to me, my kids would learn it when they were in high school. The reason why is because they're figuring out their sexuality, they're figuring out all that shit, and this ghost face is just trolling. But they would also be at the mental capacity to understand, or at least get the concept of what that stuff is, but I wouldn't be pushing it on them like what they're trying to do, because what they're trying to do, and me and Clue were talking about it off mic, they're trying to push it to where the kids that don't feel that way feel wrong. And it's like, okay, no, that's not what it is. They shouldn't feel wrong for being who they are. It's, fuck you, Ghostface. And then you give the nodders, you fucking toxic cunt. Doing it organically, yeah, that's probably one of the better ways to do it. But also, whenever you're like, if they come to you and they're like, "Hey, I don't think I like guys, or I like girls better," okay, cool. Have the conversation, but don't push it on them and make them feel wrong because they don't do that.
I'm on board with that 100%.
I just wanted to do the generator, Ghostface, you son of a bitch.
Not me realizing that I've been on mute this entire time.
I don't know.
That's a good way to put it. So the way that Clue just said it was, you can go fight for your country at 18. You can't smoke, you can't drink until you're 21. But at 5, you can decide if you want to be a boy.
Thank you. Thank you.
It should not be like that. And that's literally what...
High five to Clue.
That is. Yeah?
My opinion is that elementary school should stay elementary school. You don't need to be figuring out your sexuality and all that in elementary school. Maybe middle school, okay, yeah. But high school, definitely, that's when you want to explain it. Hell, you can maybe start it, and this is me kind of stretching it, but you can maybe start it like in 8th grade. Bringing in, definitely high school, you should very much like sit down, have to talk about like same-sex, transgender, stuff like that, because like your mind's more developed. And you'll actually like have, in a way, have a conscience, because kids are very impressionable. And then that's going to just lead to more problems along the road, because it's the whole very convoluted way, because then this and that is all of it. Personally, for me, I didn't maybe 9th grade, actually.
Hey babe, would those foxtails in the back count as... Would the foxtails in the back count as weed? Huh? You can go ask her. You can go ask her. Adam, you're not dying. I know she's got Tylenol and she's got ibuprofen. I got the muscle relaxer over there if you want it. Yeah. Hydroxyzine. Sorry, it's losing a lot of pain.
I'm going mute again real quick.
I also don't really have a comment whenever it comes to that stuff in the whole
These are 25
LGBT,
milligrams.
like whatever it's called, like alphabet mafia. That's just what I'm going to call it, because too many letters.
Jay,
Yes.
did you ever check out Blair White
I did not.
on YouTube? She's a full-blown trans, like male to female. Did the bottom surgery, I think she did the bottom surgery, I don't remember. But she talks a lot about the political side of the trans, the alphabet mafia, the whole community. And she actually gets a lot of hate for what she says. But you gotta think of it, like, a lot of the shit that she's saying is actually true. And people hate her for it.
I know one thing. Someone's gonna
How I like to put it is that the whole alphabet mafia, like, I honestly don't really count myself part of it and all, or I don't care what they do, I don't care whatever happens, because, and the only reason why I don't count myself part of them is because literally they have their own problems that they're too extreme in my boat, in all honesty, they're way too extreme.
Run, Jake, run!
I didn't
Wait a
even
second.
see him!
You don't consider yourself a part of the community, but you're gay.
Yeah, I don't consider myself part of that community because... Hang on, I'm being chased. I cannot talk right now because I'm trying to be I'm focusing. But basically... Okay, now that I'm down. I don't count myself part of that community because literally there's a lot of things, there's a lot of stereotypes in it, there's a lot of, like, oh, you should do this or you should support this. Like, I think one thing that definitely kind of ticked me off is that I'm the kind of person, like, I don't care what you call me. You can call me the freaking F slur all you want, I don't care. I literally got cursed out by another gay man for letting someone call me that, even though I didn't hear them. And he got even more pissed off and cursed me out even more because I didn't show a reaction. Like, and plus also, like, I don't do a lot of the things that people would think would do. Like, I don't go out clubbing, I don't go to Pride. Like, in all honesty, June to me is June. Like, I'm comfy with my sexuality, I'm comfy with everything about me, and the community in general, to me, it's very toxic. Like, I'm not saying everyone is. It's just that the most vocal are.
I don't know. I think that's in any community, though.
Yes, but let me put it to you this way. In the gay community, there are categories for what kind of gay man you are. There's the twinks, of which everyone should know. There's the bears, there's the jocks, everything like that. There's also another stereotype where basically, once you go past 25, you're considered unattractive. Then there is a whole other thing that I'm not going to get into because in all honesty, I really don't. But
Daniel, he's sleeping.
the community in general, to me, it's just, it's not all that. It's, I don't consider this in the sense of, like, in a political way. I should make that more sense. Like, sexuality-wise, okay, whatever. Yes, I would be considered part of that community, but at the same time, like, I don't interact with it at all. Like, to become, like, I don't fault anything of it. I do not. I choose not to. I don't have a flag. I don't have anything like that because, in all honesty, me being gay, okay, big whoop. I'm just not that kind of person. I'm very introverted. I prefer. According to J.K. Rowling, I just prefer to kind of be private in myself or whatever. Like, if people ask me, like, am I gay or whatever, like, yeah, I'm gonna say yes. I'm not gonna hide it, but at the same time, like, I don't care. That's just as much to say, like, and plus also right now, to me, they're kind of going a little overboard. But I don't know. I usually just keep quiet when it comes to anything with them. Just because it's like, you know what, I don't even follow them, so I don't really know what goes on with them. Besides the bare minimum, in all honesty, I just don't like talking about it, because like with my parents, I have very strong opinions about it, and I also just don't like politics, so. Like, the whole school thing, my opinion is, I do agree with Lucy, is that it should not be taught at a young age in elementary school. It should be taught, like, around high school, maybe at the end of middle school. And that's a big maybe. And just, like, let kids be kids in elementary school. Like, just let them be kids. They don't need to learn everything, like same-sex marriage, same-sex couples, everything like that at a young age. They need to learn their ABCs, how to spell, how to read, how to count, do basic math. Science, like make freaking slime and stuff like that, like just normal kid things. But to each their own, how they want to raise their kids, if that's... And that should also be a talk with the parents instead of the school. But that's just me. And on that note, I am actually going to get off. It's 1:01. I have work at 8.
Oh, shit. Yeah, you should go.
Night.
I don't know how to feel. I really don't. Um, I have I have tried for the longest time to be opening and accepting to everyone. And I know that there are certain folks that there obviously there are certain people that you should never be open to, because what they do not only is morally wrong, it's criminally wrong, all that stuff. I'm gonna try to sum it up the best I can before we go off the air here. Um, and I would love for people, maybe I make this an edit, I don't know. I would love for people to let me know what they feel, and maybe I can read those on the air, because it's hard. I love people in general. I know that I am demisexual. I know that I am proud to be who I am. And I personally do consider myself within the pride commune, with not exactly like to the level of someone who's bi or lesbian or gay or trans or whatever, but I have my own thing. And I will agree that I've never tried to push it. Not, I will definitely agree that I've never tried to push it down someone's throat.
Mhm.
And that would make me a hypocrite, because I've always said that people have their own religions, they believe in their own thing, and I don't want to push that down anybody's throat. So if I were to say that in the same essence for the pride community, then what kind of a person would I be? At the same time, I feel like companies like Activision Blizzard, like Apple, like Microsoft, like any other company that says that they support Pride, of course I see it as capitalism at its finest. But I, on the other hand, with Studio 6.2 Enterprises, with the Dot Game Network, with Jade on Fly Studios, with the Pixel Guys, with everything that I do, I don't. I try not to be that same corporate person, if that makes sense. I've always tried to do the things that I do because I want to help. I want to help people. I want. I also want to entertain. I want to inform. And it gets really hard to do that here. It does, because a lot of people aren't as passionate as I am, as we have seen. And maybe it's wrong for me to feel passionate about it. Maybe it's wrong that I'm I have a strong opinion one way or the other, but at the same time, I know friends that are lesbian, that are gay, that are bi, that are pansexual, that are trans, that are within the entire umbrella. And for me to say anything against them would be horrible, I think. At the same time, I think there also has to be a limit. I think with great power comes great responsibility. And if we put I think the best way to say this is that when I think about things like this, I think about what would I do in this situation. For example, if I'm a parent and I have a kid in a school, let's say I have a kid and Bryan ISD goes through the exact same thing. It won't, but if it did, how would I feel? And if my child asked me about a same-sex couple, same-sex parents they've seen, I would just tell them, some parents, sometimes there are two mommies, sometimes there are two daddies. It's not always mommy and daddy, but they're still loved. They're still in the same. They're still family. They still love each other. That's just how they are. I feel like that's an easy way to explain things to a child. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I get to these stages where I just don't know if I'm helping any. I don't know if I've done my best. And obviously I'm overthinking, but like where is that limit that I have? Where is the limit that I draw? I don't know.
And that's something that you could figure out over time. I mean, everybody's limit is different with different things. So, I mean, taking the time to think about it and actually figure out, what your limits are or what you'll tolerate is a good place to start.
And for anyone who sees this, and I doubt I'll ever get clipped or anything like that, or someone's gonna be like, "Oh, look at what Jay Jones said. Look at what the people in his Discord say or whatever." I doubt that'll ever happen. But if it does, understand to anyone within the LGBTQIA plus community, I do support you. That's why I donate $20 a month to the Trevor Project. That's why I donate another I think another 20 to 988. That's why I donate another 10. I donate 10 somewhere. I forgot where, but that's why I do donate to another amount of money. I don't remember if it's 10 or 20 to Terrain. It's another reason why I donate to the Wicked Media Foundation. And it's these organizations that I support because I know that there are people that are in crisis. There are people that are in danger. And if I can donate to an organization that helps them through whatever crisis they're in, then I've done something. I've put my money where my mouth is. And I'm sure, and then maybe someone else sees this and I lose a friend or two. I don't know what to tell you. I'm trying. I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to be better informed. I'm trying to do better on my own to help others because that's what I do. But maybe I'm not doing it right. And then if I'm not, call me out on it. I don't know. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but what do I know? Anyway, I'm gonna go off the air. Um, I'm gonna think about things. Yay me for bringing these things up, but that's what I get for being a news hound, a news junkie.
Right.
Hmm.
Right.
And maybe, I can't tell you that I'm gonna quit being a news junkie. I can't. That's just how I am. I like, I like ingesting information. But hopefully, people will make sense of what I'm talking about, make sense of what we're talking about, and we'll talk about it again next time. Or not. I don't know. In the meantime, folks, we'll see you next time. Until then, keep this in mind. You're loved, you're special, and you're not alone. Good night.